Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If everybody could please stay standing. I would like to call a moment of silence for Richard Francesi and Gary Ward of Berryville, as well as Henry Hoffman, the clerk's father. Thank you. Will you please do roll call?
Yes. Councilperson Corral,
Here, present.
Councilwoman.
President. President. Okay, everybody got a copy of the April minutes from the deputy clerk. Are there any changes? Okay, do I have a motion to accept the April minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Can we please get the correspondence report? One second.
Mutual aid, 5 to Lumberland, 3 to Bethlehem, 3 to Bethel, mutual aid calls missing, giving full percentage of 91.3 response rate. No meeting in April, 23 drills, and 1 Orange County training seminar for crime scene prevention. EMS calls total overall man hours for calls was 267 hours. For Hammond Fire Department, total hours were 39.75, drills were 58 hours total, night work, work nights were a total of 34 hours, and training hours were 16. Human Fire Department, emergency calls 11, drills 4. Meeting and training, 3, miscellaneous 1. Total of event hours were 19, and a total of personnel hours, were 209 hours total.
Thank you. So I just would like to bring it to the public's attention that the former Oker / River Market / Berryville General, now Ben Variety, has applied for a liquor license. So they'd like to do on and off premises. So this was received by the town board. It's just a public announcement. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The following was written with help from author, musician, library board member, and Upper Delaware Scenic Byway representative Mike Edison. Henceforth is a proclamation naming Sunday, May 18th, Paddy Kennedy Day, in the event of a retirement from the Sunshine Hall Free Library in Eldred, New York. Whereas now more than ever, librarians are heroes. Whereas librarians are guardians of free speech and facilitators of knowledge. Whereas for over 20 years, we've been blessed with a great library director whose love of books and our town has made the Sunshine Hall Free Library a safe and generous place for little kids, seniors, and curious people of all ages. We thank Paddy Kennedy for service and selfishness. Now please be it proclaimed that May 18th is Paddy Kennedy Day in the town of Highland. The library invites the entire community to join them in the celebration on Sunday, May 18th, at the library from 1 to 4 p.m. Keep your sandwiches early, right?
There will be refreshments.
Okay. So congratulations to Patty. She's retiring. She's still going to stay on partially. Mike, thank you for the kind. I did the English literature teacher who's been long retired, Mo Peckus, and she said that she had limited experience with Patty, but knew her to be a really curious and excitable mother. She said her daughter Kathleen was in a small class I taught. She was a proactive mother, caring, kind, and supportive. She worked tirelessly for her daughter's educational goals as well as her well-being. I recall her as being patient and pleasant. And for anybody who's been to the library, Patty is a wealth of knowledge and embraces everybody that walks in with open arms and has really set the tone of a really joyous place. So if everybody could get a chance to stop and congratulate her or give her a wave or a nod, we'd really appreciate it. I want to let the public know that May 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And again, there'll be a large break in the day, and then from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. it's tax grievance day. So that will take place in town hall. Again, that's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on May 27th. It's always the fourth Tuesday of the month. Preparedness Day has been rescheduled to July 17th at 6 p.m. Now, this is a wonderful program that the County Emergency Services have been putting on in conjunction with Homeland Security of New York State. Margie Vernici and Paula Campbell attended last summer and were given a backpack full of preparedness tools, everything from, you know, lights to, could you expound a little bit more? I didn't attend. Paula or Margie, what was in your backpack?
Okay, in the backpack is portable shower, flashlight, using all battery. Radio, small first aid kit, brake light, you know, the plastic thing you break and you light up. Glasses at night, I really can't think of all the things.
But a lot of wonderful things that will prepare you in the event. Great, so we rescheduled the workshop. It was initially going to be last Thursday, but because of supplies, we couldn't guarantee the backpack.
We have to register because we want everyone to have the backpack. The stuff in it is a good starter. And then you can, it's lightweight, it's big and durable, and then you can add the other stuff to it. It's a go bag.
So we'll start a online form so that people can sign up with class, so that we can guarantee everybody get those supplies. We'll try to make that go live by Monday. And thank you, Margie and Paul, for seeing it for us. The date has been set for the Boy Scouts Truth Reads Across America program. That's been set for December 13th at 10 a.m. It's a wonderful program where they honor all the veterans that are buried in all of our cemeteries, including private cemeteries. They have the great benefit of having some soldiers and some Civil War soldiers, and then also some veterans buried in my own backyard. And the Boy Scouts really do a wonderful tribute to those veterans. So if everybody could support them, mark your calendars. It's December 13th, which I believe is a Saturday at 10 a.m. We received a notice from Frontier that they will be discontinuing service in our community. We just basically have to sign off on it. I don't know if anybody's been the recipient of this. I know a lot of people's local landlines have been canceled. I believe it's on a 3-year cycle, so they're going to be phasing completely out of our area. I, for one, just tried to sign up recently for Frontier service at one of the buildings, and it was unavailable. They're no longer providing service, so there's no new service. You should be receiving service updates in the mail. Our workshop on May 6th, we held a public hearing to basically put the reestablishment vocabulary on the ballot in November. So again, we had the public workshop, and it's just to go on the ballot. This is not a vote by the town board to either say yes or no. We really want to put this in the hands of the public and make it a democratic decision. So with that, has everybody got a chance to review the town board resolution? Board? So do I have a motion to pass the resolution adopting a local law to establish a town requesting placement of the proposition on the general election ballot November 4th, 2025? Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Yeah.
Tom seconded it.
Sorry, son, you gotta go fast. I would like to bring up something. So I wanted to first say thank you to everybody who came to the litter pluck. It was a really wonderful outing. We collected more than 300 bags of trash all around town. It was beautiful. We had combined from our highway department. Jeff Barnes was wonderful. And then our deputy clerk went around and collected a lot of bags. I was stacking bags on the back of my pickup on Saturday night. It was a really wonderful feat by the town, but it got me thinking, there's no reason that these people who show up, more than 60 volunteers, have to clean up after the whole town and have there be no repercussions for the people who continue to litter. It's been brought up to me to several residents that there should be a town board ordinance making it an offensible, a actual written offense for littering. I know we've had litter policies come and go in our town. The Upper Delaware Scenic Byway did a litter program in 2021 when a lot of people were coming up here during, and we announced the hamlets so that there would be more of a personal experience with each one of the towns, begging people not to litter and to keep our towns beautiful. And we're still the recipients of a lot of garbage. And it's not just from visitors, it's very pedestrian. I, for one, have been picking up bags of trash that are just left on 55 after the litter pluck. People misuse the tickets. I think it's time that we take a stance on keeping our area beautiful and respecting the land. So at the June workshop, I would like to propose an ordinance for a $500 fine for littering. And I know that sounds very extreme, but hopefully it's an extreme deterrent so that people do not continue to litter and pollute our land and disrespect our town. Yes, I will hear from the court clerk. So it would be left in, it's very similar to the new parking ordinance that is being proposed. It goes first to the state and the county. We'll be given the ordinance, we pass it, we have a public hearing very similarly. If the constabulary is reestablished, then it can be enforced. We also have the DEC troopers who are enforcing this and giving out tickets. This actually happened during the litter pluck. There was somebody that received a ticket during the litter pluck because there's things flying all over. So it's important to me, and I hope it's important to all of you to respect the place that we live in. So we would leave that to all bodies of police enforcement. Yes.
DEC can issue tickets.
They have a DEC trooper that goes around.
Right.
They don't have the same coverage as the sheriff's department or the
Right.
state police, but they do come to municipalities. I think they came on the event of our litter plot just to make sure everything was in line. Pardon?
One or two per county,
Yeah, one or two, yeah.
and more likely if you're talking about park rangers, they're the ones that can, right, be with you.
Yes, but they do have, the DOT works with the DEC to actually put out troopers on when they have like dates of interest or whatever. I'm not sure, like you said, probably one or two are in the big mass that is Sullivan County, so it's not a lot of coverage, but we can all do our part. We originally were gonna hear from Commander Pete Carmiki, but we can go ahead with that. On May 20th, we're offering a meal at the senior center from 3:30 to 6:30. That's for all seniors and veterans. It's following the Highland Seniors meeting. We'll be dispersing Chinese food, and then Conrad of the corner in Eldred, the corner in Newland Country Store will be helping to prepare meals too that people can either dine in or take away. So it's one part social, one part just providing for people who may experience food disparages, and also honoring vets by offering a free meal. So again, that's for seniors and vets on May 20th, right after the senior meeting at 3:30 until 6:30. On May 26th at 1 p.m., the Tustin Highland Lumberland Post 6427 and the Sylvia Bible American Legion Post 1363 will be holding memorial services at Heroes Park in Eldon, honoring all of our fallen heroes. Obviously, Heroes Park is just right at the corner of 55 and Proctor. And that's about it. At this time, I would like to introduce our Upper Delaware Scenic Byway Committee rep, Mike Edison.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. People I don't know if everyone knows, I am since January, when Johnny asked me, to be the representative for the Upper Delaware City Byway Community Town of Highland, and I'm really excited to do it. It's a good time. We're coming up to the semi-quincentennial, if it's about right, for the American Revolution begins next year, 250 years. I'm old enough for the bicentennial, so I'm excited. I take a lot of pride in the American Revolution and our local history, so that's a good thing. The purpose of the Upper Delaware City Byway Council is to highlight and promote responsible tourism here. And I'm really glad to be part of that. Next week is the beginning of the farmers market, and we granted a small grant to help support the Shad Fest, Festival of the Founding Fish. First day of the farmers market is next week, Saturday.
This Saturday.
It's this Saturday, sorry, this Saturday, the 17th, it's happening. So that's exciting. Regarding the farmers market, I want to mention too that in July, we're going to start the kids programming again, from July 4th weekend, Labor Day. But meanwhile, we have a brand new website, Upper Delaware City Byway has a brand new website, it's udsb.net. It looks fantastic. And this summer is going to be a scavenger hunt from tourism. It goes all the way to the byway, which is about 70 miles from Port Jervis all the way to Hancock. And I think we need the best stretch. Yeah, I think this is great through Barryville and East before. There's a lot going on through the farmers market and the battlefield and the bridge and everything else. To talk about the scavenger hunt, we're getting involved with local businesses and whatnot. I'd like to introduce the program director of the Upper Delaware City Byway, Committee David Krantz, who will take it from here. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Appreciate it, Mike. That he did a pretty good job of kind of leading into this summer-long scavenger hunt that we're hosting. It's meant to attract new visitors, but it's certainly also meant to entertain and encourage participation by all of us local people. So we've developed an app, as he stated, between Port Jervis and Hancock. And there's about 35 locations throughout the byway. It deals with historic sites, it deals with beautiful vistas, it deals with hiking. But a large part of what we're trying to do this year is to draw more people to the businesses and these municipalities. So it's a big multitask campaign. If anyone is a business owner or knows a business that might be interested in us trying to attract more people to their business, please get in touch with Mike or me. Mike left some pamphlets that have a little bit more detailed information on the whole thing. As you said, you can also just go to the website and find out more about it. But we're happy to do this and eager to see how it goes. So it'll run from June until August 31st.
I have two questions for you.
Sure.
What does the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway Committee do?
So the committee itself, if you think of the Delaware River as the resource for being the cheerleader for the river and the activities along the river, including overlapping with the National Park Service, the road is the thing that gets you to these areas. So we really see the road as an asset, whether it's motorcyclists, bicyclists, people just driving. And our committee is dedicated towards making sure that litter is a large part of it, but making sure that we work with the DOT to keep that road scenic and beautiful. And as he said, there's a few parts of it that I think are spectacular as well.
We also use grants for vista enhancement for cultural purposes. I think the farmers market falls under that. We help support pollinated gardens and community gardens. There's one more category I'm missing, but the idea is to highlight the byway and the byway
Signs.
experience. Signage, thank you, interpretive signs, which is our specialty around here. Yeah, just to highlight the experience of the byway, which in this case, this byway, 96 is considered one of the most scenic roads in this part of the world, especially foliage season. Obviously, bikers really like it. And, everybody has seen Hawks Nest and movie or a TV commercial. It's a very special part of the world. So we're trying to promote responsible tourism, highlight the experience. We think there's a narrative to the whole experience of the byway. There's a lot of local history here. There's certainly a lot of fauna that's, of interest, is incredible amount of stuff going on. I think, the American history here is amazing. So that's what the byway does. And like it's an interest in getting more involved or a local business and want to help be part of the scavenger hunt. There's like a press release looking for partners in the scavenger hunt, and then also some more sort of general information, and for the Gen Pop, about the scavenger.
I have a question, Grace. Where does the byway start?
Here from Port Jervis, and it goes all the way down. So it's not mile zero. What's the actual start?
Port Jervis to Hancock.
Yeah, but
So is your scavenger hunt including everything from Port Jervis to Hancock?
yeah. It's 70 miles. There's pretty much, there's about 20 miles that technically aren't part of the byway. But yes, the scavenger hunt. And it's meant to really be something that takes longer than just a day to do, to encourage people to spend multiple days up here and see everything that there is to offer, so.
And then one more question, are businesses that are slightly off the byway, like maybe in Eldred, eligible to participate in the scavenger hunt?
So Mike and I were talking about that. Both of us had a hard time saying no. And part of this is, these same people that are coming here that aren't locals, they do need grocery stores to go to. They do need, but there's only so many things on the byway itself. So as the program manager, unless my board says otherwise, the answer is yes, but he is the board
I'm the
member,
rep,
so.
I'm saying yes.
Okay.
Obviously, we want to promote our businesses and help it. Obviously, this community was very important to all of us. So no one's being left out. The border of the Bible is fungible. I mean, technically, of course, it's Route 97, maybe a little off, but this is our town. We're driving through. We want them to stop here, and it's nice to be. Bakers, the other crossroads, the other restaurants. So yeah, it's not officially the byway, but
Great. Thanks so much for your presentation. We appreciate it. And your meetings are the fourth Monday of the month in Narrowville.
Except for this one just happens to be because of Memorial, it'll be June 2nd, I think. Or, yeah.
And everybody's, the public's
It is
invited,
public, yes.
yeah, is invited to attend, so there's 7 p.m. usually on the fourth Monday of the month. Great, thank you guys very much for sharing this. Mr. Joe Barnes, can you give us an update from the highway department, followed by Ms. Tina?
All right, since our April meeting, of course, we had a snowstorm on April 12th. We're still doing a little brush cutting, roadside cleanup from the winter storms. Replace driveway pipes on Hillside Road and also ditched and shouldered. We saw cut the blacktop to replace culvert pipes. Rented an excavator to replace culvert pipes, crossover pipes, York Lake Road, Schumacher Pond. Installed the new town signs at the Highland and Lumberland line and Bethel and Highland. Mowed grass at Town Hall project, and there's a man lift. Gonna be here, May 19th, next Monday, to install the flags and the banners.
Thank you, Joe. I think Sonia, do you want to lead off this conversation? So she had a visit, we had a
So
brief
I met
visit.
today with Joe and Daryl. We had asked them to give us a comprehensive inventory of the vehicles as well as equipment. They did a great job. We discussed creating and adhering to a replacement plan for our fleet of vehicles, including snowplows and pickup trucks. So we walked around, we checked out the trucks today, and he explained how some of the trucks have maintenance repairs up to $100,000. When we're looking at buying a new vehicle, you're looking at $300,000. So I think that it's something that, we need to evaluate our options as we move forward with these vehicles, in a strategic manner. I think upgrading our fleet, lowers the operational costs in the long run. And I think purchasing the new vehicles is something we should seriously consider, as Joe is looking to purchase a pickup truck from his budget.
Yeah.
And we're looking to do another bonding of a snowplow.
Yep,
which
so,
we're in need of.
yeah, can you give us some details on the snowplow?
going on with this?
And we. One. And the-
We could get rid of one of, the worst one of the 2006 plow trucks. So you could be, it was pretty amazing when Bob did the online auction, what the vehicles went for. I don't know exactly what that was. There's a few things up there that could be, auctioned off, surplus. So exactly how much I do not know.
Okay, so maybe between now and the June meeting, we could take a look and kind of tag some of those things. And just get some rough numbers for the public, so we can sort of justify, the down payment and then the increase, which we have no control over, but. Like you said, we just saw like a $40,000 increase from the last plow truck that was ordered. And when we purchased this plow truck, when will it be available for use?
They're telling me 14 months. Huston is waiting almost 2 years.
That's why it's something that has to.
Got it. Okay, so with that, do I have a motion to purchase the pickup truck with the funds coming from the highway department general budget and bond the plow truck with money from NICLAS? Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? No,
Thank you.
we will do our due diligence on behalf of the surplus and kind of move as much as we can to help put down payments towards these things and continue to make investments that can help our money pay with our money. So, thank you for that, and thank you, Sonia, for your report. Thanks for visiting them today.
I just wanted to make a quick comment to our online community. The internet went out for a few minutes. Zoom went down. It is now back up. So we had a little 4-minute blip there, but it looks like it's operating again.
Okay, thank you. We are not gonna have another presentation by the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway. An accident. Sorry about that. Joe, sorry, you're in the hot seat tonight. Can you talk about the mower purchase that we discussed? Basically for maintenance, we have Firing Parks, which we'll get to a little bit later in the program this evening. But basically actualized our 2021 Silver Feather River Access Grant and created new parks along the Delaware River. One starting in the cul-de-sac with a new mural that was erected by Dorian Warner in 2022. And then the green space at the north end of River Road. They call it a Park Road Beach. It's a green space in the middle of a big green space, but it's there for the public to enjoy. Also the Eagle Observation 1, which is just north of River Road. And then Eagle Observation 2, which is where the Barbara Yeaman Eagle Observation booth used to be, and now is the site of the Cape Project. You guys may have driven past the big chunk of coal that used to be at the old Eldred Preserve that's been placed there and donated by Frank Monteleone. And then the quarter-mile activity path that goes from the former Barbara Yeaman site all the way to the Roebling Bridge. It connects to the towpath and it creates like a mile, basically, round trip hike for residents. It's a really wonderful, beautiful thing. If you haven't got a chance to walk it, please take advantage of it. We'll be doing a celebration and commemoration later on in the season when all the work is complete, the gardens are installed. But my point in all of this is that we've created essentially a parks department, and I believe under the two highway supervisors ago, including Rob as the interim supervisor, we had a dedicated sort of member of the highway department that was our sort of parks department that was doing the mowing and things at each one of these sites. But since then, our equipment is fallen into disrepair. We're not, with what we have on hand right now, we're not able to mow at the volume of what we need to do to maintain these parks. So Joe and I discussed potentially taking some of our equipment reserve, again, from our savings and splitting the cost of a mower with the highway department. So we would take it half out of the town budget and half out of the highway budget, because it's technically their use and they will be executing this, but you know, they're doing work, and they're doing a lot of work on behalf of the town to maintain not only the roads, but all the land around the roads and things too. So yeah, Joe, do you have any information on the mower that you looked at?
I don't have any new information. Rob was checking into it, I believe last year.
Okay,
Commercial zero-turn mowers probably, off the top of my head, probably $10,000, I would say.
so it would be a contribution from around 5,000 from our savings account, the town's general fund, and then another 5,000 from the town budget that you feel comfortable spending on behalf of the highway budget.
Yes.
Okay. Do we want to set a cap? Do you think we can get something that will work for 10,000, and it would eliminate some of our contracts as well, because we do have three vendors right now that are mowing on behalf of the town.
Right.
And so we cut down on 2 out of the 3.
Yeah, nothing the contractor, I believe, would still be, the one would be the cemeteries.
Yep.
The town cemetery.
Town cemeteries.
Not St. Anthony's and whatnot.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so do I have a motion to split the cost of a new mower with a cap at 5,000 on behalf of the town budget? money's coming from the general fund. And 5,000 would be coming out of our general fund savings, so it's the interest bearing accounts that we pay for the bond with.
I'll make that motion.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved, thank you, and thank you to everybody, thank Rob for his research, and let's try to get the best one we can.
When he gets back, I'll have him go on source well and look up some numbers.
Okay,
Awesome, thank you.
thank you very much. Okay, on Friday, we have the actualization of our first Office of Children and Families grant. We received $50,000 from departing Assemblywoman Gunther in 2024. We received $50,000 to redo our kitchen at the Senior Community Center. Special thank you to Tom Migliorino for sort of actualizing all of those things and kind of leading the charge on those things. It was definitely an effort. We worked with a lot of local tradespeople to get everything in place. We still have a little bit of work to do to make it perfect, and we still have a little bit of budget. So this is the actualization of our project. We're doing our first event on Friday. We're showing Kung Fu Panda. And we are going to be offering 5th to 8th graders authentic Chinese meal prepared by the new local chef Michael Scher, who just recently bought the old Oakers building. So he's going to extend his talents to the community and prepare a Chinese food meal, and then we'll be screening Kung Fu Panda. The reason it's only for 5th to 8th graders is because we just simply don't have the space. So we're going to try to do another event in June or July, try to learn from our mistakes, and whatever goes wrong, whatever we can fix between now and then with this showing, we'll do, and we'll continue to actualize this program. The intention was to work with Growing Soul for this program, as some of you might remember when we originally got the grant. But because of delays in federal investments, the DEC has not decided yet on their funding for the grant that would have paid for her staff. So we're kind of in a purgatory right now. So all of our local chefs are kind of stepping up and leading the charge. So we have Conrad, again, from New Country Store, and Michael Scher, whose new business is called Ben's Variety, that'll be preparing the meals on Friday and Monday. So thank you to them. And also in our youth department, the county has issued a new format for the grant funding for the Sullivan County Youth Bureau. So instead of the typical application, they're now looking for programming services. They issued an RFP. So I've been in contact with a couple of local youth agencies. I haven't got a chance to connect with Betsy Lazar yet from Sullivan Public. But I know she's been applying and offering youth programming, as well as Nona Hall, and then Debbie, follow her last name again, Debbie Gubiani, who has the.
Debbie Gubiani.
Yes, so Debbie's kind of transitioned from being like an out daycare for, babies to, to teens. She's transitioned out of that, and she's been doing like after school for parents, which is a really great need in our community, for kids to have some place to go and be received after they get off the bus. So everybody's been going to Debbie's, but the only problem with that is she's not able to take those children to sports, after school programs, anything of the sort. So I'd like to put a proposal together to offer a transportation grant, as well as a segmented grant for Sullivan Public, for hall space, and then to continue our programs to supplement Koinonia Nature Camp as well. So that's something we're going to put together. Again, we're going to consult with Sullivan Public to see if they're going to do something on their own, or they'd like to join our town grant. It's just it's very specific format, and the determination and the scope of services is pretty finite this year. So we're going to talk about that with each one of the programs as to what it's for. But one of the major components of this RFP is for transportation. So I think it would be a great benefit to parents in our community. And I do want to diversify. Some of you may remember we used our emergency ARPA funds. We gave them $30,000 to offer scholarships to all the local parents. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's something we can't keep up with every year. So we will try to supplement and make that part of our grant, but it will not be like the entire focus of our grant this year. So do I have a motion to submit, a request for proposal, to the Sullivan County Youth Bureau on behalf of the youth programs in the town of Highland?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Sonia and Tom, can you give us buildings update? Start the application.
Oh, yeah. I did a new, because we finished the senior center, community center. We had two events that very first weekend that I hear went off without a hitch and everything was great. And we decided that we're opening that up, so we redid our building application. That's it, that's all I have. That's what I did.
What are some of the changes that you have in your application?
There's no changes, I just updated it and then I wanted everybody to look at it. The only thing that I suggested was a little bit more transparency if you're going to waive a fee, which is the town clerk's discretion.
We have to have a discussion regarding cost. We have to increase the cost.
Right, that's why I said that's just a draft, go over it and then give you the
In
changes.
the form that we had was either a $200 deposit,
I left it, so that's why I
Or-
review it.
insurance.
Right.
So what would be better? Would it be better for them to come across with insurance? Or the $200 deposit that,
Right, that's
I
why,
think these are three separate issues, right? We have nonprofits getting fees waived.
yeah, well,
Then
this
an
is why I
insurance
said
waiver,
this is the draft that we have to all look at
Okay.
and then write down what your concerns are, because it's you two that, okay, everything. So I just wanted to give it a new form, basically, a new application.
So we're talking about increasing the rate to 200 versus 100, and then people can opt out of providing their insurance and give a $200 deposit for
Correct.
return.
correct,
And then nonprofits can apply basically, or submit an application to you to get the fees waived altogether.
Correct.
The proper nonprofit.
Correct.
What should give you some sort of, letter.
What if
Yeah,
there
that's-
is damage over $200?
Well, we can add that in
Well,
the application. Sonia, would you like us to send notes and ideas to you via
Yeah.
email? And then
Yes, and then I can change it and.
do you want to bring to the next town board meeting something we can vote on? Because
Yeah,
this will become an active period for
Okay.
rentals. Okay.
and this is another busy time because graduation parties happen and things like that. Wedding showers, baby showers. So the sooner the better that we have a clear.
Yeah, in the meantime, I would just go on using your current application.
Okay.
Is there anything booked at this
So
time?
sign up now while it's still in.
Not at this
time.
Nothing big at this time, no.
John, to discuss the generator bids.
No, so we do have the.
Can I just go back to that for one
Yeah,
second?
sure.
So the senior center has been revamped and all of that. We still charge the same for the town hall, so that's something we might want to
Another
consider,
thing, yeah,
also.
right.
Yeah. And I mean,
There you go.
full transparency, we did receive a grant for the town hall for $75,000. The bulk of that is to redo the kitchen and then for technical and security upgrades. And so we've actualized we were just discussing this briefly before the meeting. We've actualized or committed to about $30,000 in tech upgrades, security upgrades, new new iPads, new security walls, because we had a lot of phishing scams and other things that happened last year. We've completely upgraded our servers with Secure Cloud, which is a really wonderful agency that we work with. They've been very, very helpful. High-speed internet is flowing. We finally have permeated these walls and additions in our Wild Town Hall so that people are receiving internet all over the place. So we feel really good about it.
And much more secure.
Yeah, and we're much more secure,
And
which
backup.
is a great thing. So we have about $45,000 left to actualize the redux of our kitchen to make it more of a meeting space. And a little bit less home kitchen and a little bit of a formal meeting space for people. And we plan to do some upgrades to the main hall and town hall as well. again, with our $75,000 SAM grant, so that's very exciting. And we did have to get a new refrigerator recently too, because that was a natural burnout. And we had a really funny truck sale, and Melissa and I were able to purchase a really fancy refrigerator for around $600, and it was delivered first thing in the morning, the day after you ordered it. So we didn't ask questions, we just went for it, and it's in great shape. Home Depot delivered, it was great. We got it outside, so it felt very kind of haphazard, but yeah, we've actualized a little bit of that grant as well there. Yeah, so let's go to the, but in all of that, we'll probably be increasing the rates here at Town Hall too. Once that is all actualized, so for the next probably, 6 months, the rate will remain, $100 here. Yeah.
Okay.
Pardon?
You doing the courthouse next or the RFP?
I think we should do the RFPs just while it's hot, so this has been a little fun with, everybody started emailing sealed bids, which is not really wonderful. This one was accidentally opened and then stopped, and we looked at this one yet, so we received 3 bids for the installation of the generator at the town highway garage. B&B Electric out of Monticello offered a bid for $16,500. Rapid Electric out of Glen Spey has submitted a bid for $5,650. And American Electric out of Lake Huntington submitted a bid that was incorporating wiring for our dishwasher and pulling power source from the highway department building and providing it to the senior community center building. So I just have to do some quick math. I'm not include that. So his bid was for $9,593.99.
How much, $9,000?
$9,593.99.
Looks like Rapid has the lowest bid, Rapid Electric.
Yeah, I mean, and we have a great experience with them. They were the first to bid on this, on the first test too.
It's a local company, Leavenworth, Mrs. Leavenworth.
Yep, I'm sure you guys know the Leavenworth family, the story builder.
Diane, yeah,
Yes.
Then you've had experience working with their team, right?
yeah, they're great.
Got it. I know.
So that's a good number, and I'll contact them and we'll get that scheduled.
So should we take a formal vote to go with the?
We have to accept the bid, yeah.
Yeah, so do I have a motion to accept the bid for Rapid Electric?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All-
You go.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
Like, we go through the utilities, yeah.
Yes, if you could give us a list of all the improvements this month.
Okay, right here at Town Hall, you notice our new billboard?
Yes,
It's,
beautiful.
It's over there, we'll try to get that installed next week.
And does it lights up?
We're missing, otherwise it
Yes.
probably would have been installed, but, it's a beautiful.
And that was a donation from Pam and Don Tagar from Uland. They're wonderful people. We purchased our desk from them and they donated this, so they funded this for our town. Is a gift.
The top part lights up too. That's exciting.
Sure, go ahead, Tom.
Let's explain it. So we had spoken about the town hall here, the renovation that we're gonna do. John explained that. As far as the community center, there's a few things that need to be completed in the kitchen yet. But I understand the hallway between the kitchen and the bathrooms where it's painted today. So we're cleaning up, that. We have to clean up the gardens outside and cut a couple of trees. Courthouse, snakes are running wild, right, Patty?
Sorry. I'm sorry, man.
Pictures. I'm standing.
No, it's all, yeah.
You. Walking in like this.
Mhm.
Everything.
My worst
I'm
nightmare.
done.
Yeah.
You have to do something about this.
Well, I contacted the
Hey, Parker.
extermination company. They're gonna try to do something. They can't guarantee anything which they.
And just so everybody knows too, with the courthouse renovation, we're really focusing on the things that have to be done. We're not doing like just aesthetic sort of upgrades for the courthouse. So,
It's really hard to get that.
yeah, I'm sorry, we're just.
Can you gavel it up?
So with the courthouse proposal, the architect that we're working with has prioritized obviously the roof and the foundation and these floors. So we're really focused, you know, first and foremost, all funds will be spent on securing the roof, securing the foundation, and securing the floor joists is like the priority to make sure the building is secure. Because without that, we don't have anything, so I just add veneer to something, so that's been the bulk of the proposal that they set forward. Patty, we're gonna work as exponentially as we can, we just received this, whatever we can do with.
But
Is there something that anybody knows about?
It's not gonna stop with the stakes there, and the basement are coming up through the floors, is what's gonna happen is when we go out to bid, we're gonna put spray foam underneath the whole building, and that should seal everything up where they can't get to the next.
And when is this?
Well, it's a process, Patty, it just takes time, and then we had
We
just received the plans last week, the final drawings, we are here. And now it has to go out to a bid process, I mean, we're still months away.
Yeah,
So
so
we spring, there seems to be a. And it's, but these are small ones.
It's still scary, 7 feet
No.
tall.
Well, those are not the pictures I seen, I received pictures today, but
Small.
7 feet,
It's a full
that's
cavity.
small.
and during our, I mean, to be fair, during
The
our,
one that is next to my desk on Wednesday had to be 16, 18 inches.
And Omar sent me pictures today where they were stuck in a glue trap.
Yeah, I have to look
Big
hot seats, maybe.
we get a court cash. All right, well, you know, Patty, we're obviously very sorry for your experience. We'll cast a wider net to try to find somebody that can remediate the mistakes in the meantime.
I thank you, but you know what, it's been how long?
Yeah, no, but I know, this is a long game, you know, we are trying to secure the courthouse and, you know, get it to a place where we can invite the public instant free. And have obviously the employees day to day not have to deal with some remediation, so we're very sorry for that, and we'll work on it as fast and as diligently as we can.
What I'll do, but it's not a guaranteed fix, like last spring, I purchased that product from Home Depot. The snake away, and it seemed to work for a little while. I'll give it another shot, it'll be taken care of by this weekend, so we'll give it,
Not necessarily because of it.
that's all we can do right now.
Okay.
And
Anything else on buildings?
the only thing is, we're gonna have to budget a new roof for the emergency building come this fall. We need to get a roof on that building, the shingles are going off with these recent windstorms we had. It needs to be
No.
taken care of, but the courthouse is covered because that's in that.
That's from
grant.
that's from the same grant.
But this, for the emergency building, we're gonna have to budget it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's my awful.
infrastructure grants are still out there in the universe, and we'll, I mean, the grants committee will like,
Yeah.
you know, really search high and low for that. The good news is it's part of our emergency services. So hopefully we can find something out there to cover that, because it's such a big expense and
Usually, well, the problem is we have to pay for that late. So that's what makes it more costly. The one more thing is the 564 Route 55, the building we purchased. We are working on getting a grant for that, correct?
yeah, so basically we put out an RFP for excavators for the Rust grant in receipt of the county. Matt McPhillips, the maker over there was able to secure the Rust grant funding. They've like kind of reimagined the Rust grants that haven't been sort of delegated since 2022, I believe. And hounding that since I took office to try to get Rust grants, which are grants dedicated towards the demolition of derelict buildings in town. And stuck with them, they stuck with me, and we're first to the draw, so we issued a sort of preamble of an RFP just to say, hey, we can do this within the grant funds that are available via the Rust grants. And now we're working with the town's engineer, Ken Ellsworth, to have a full bid project. So I don't know if anybody saw in the Sullivan County Democrat, we did issue a sort of addendum to our grant to say we're not going to procure or hire a vendor from our initial RFP. It was just said that we could, do the initial work. We're also working with Assemblywoman Paula Cage's office to apply for some of her SAM grant funding when she receives it. And that can't be for the procurement of property, but it can be used once you own a property, you're able to do the work in excavation. Also, so the public knows, on Monday, May 19th, the comprehensive plan committee is going to meet, and they're going to add to our survey that we've been working on and plugging away on for our 10-year comprehensive plan. We really want the public's buy-in on what you would like to see happen with the 564 buildings. So if you guys have any ideas for that, we will be offering like three or four options for the public. But our comprehensive plan committee is comprised of Sonia Cleany, Jeff Spitz, Matt Salusto, Heather Jacksey, Phil Lloyd, Matt Nelson, and myself. We said Matt Salusto. So if you guys have any ideas and you want to talk to them, if you see any of these individuals now until Monday, please, pull off their ear and tell them what you'd like to see happen with that property. We're really excited about it. The engineer offered some pretty insightful information about what's possible over there, and I think we acted at the right time. The buildings are crumbling, and it's definitely going to be a safety hazard very soon. So, and it's not only the 564 building; the building next door is definitely derelict and in disrepair too. So we're waiting to get a full-fledged report from our town engineer on his recommendations. Thank you, Tom. Cleanup day, if you haven't got your passes yet, they'll be offered through tomorrow. Through Thursday.
Till Friday.
They will?
Yeah, I'll be there to be here.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I won't be able to be here till 3, but things are happening next week for my dad.
Got it. Okay.
So I'll be able to, tomorrow I can't, but Thursday and Friday.
Okay, so if everybody didn't hear that, so.
And I will put it up on social media, what the hours are that I can go.
Okay, so if you guys check the town social media and the town board website.
Send them to me.
I'll text you.
Thank you.
The hours for cleanup day. Sonia and I are also gonna extend hours on Friday. She's gonna cover from 8 to 10 and I'll cover from 10 to 12 just in my office until you can make it in to offer passes too. So if you guys still haven't picked up your passes, it's obviously one per property, so you can make several trips if you have more than one property. Do you have a question about it?
I have a question. How do you guys decide what can be thrown? Because for those lists that you offer from years to go and I live here 30 years, there's nothing you can throw. Besides all food, brother,
The county. The county determines.
We sign a contract with the county every year because it's
Right.
free. It's
So
like,
that's why we have all that litter that we pick up, the furnitures, the mattresses, the tires, that's how it's happening. Some people for like in a low level of income, they cannot afford them. So that's why we find it on that litter last year and this year on the sidewalk and pick up all that. Think with old ovens, old refrigerators.
I
They
mean,
say, and at least, go bring it to the, let's say, the transfer station.
so,
Transfer station for refrigerator, you gotta take out free on. And then you have to pay the fee, whatever the fee
I
is.
don't think you pay the fee on don't pay. That's the case. You take it up to the transfer station and you
Yeah,
don't
but
have
that's
to pay
they are not
the
for
fee.
the people, they didn't know that, at least the people who spoke with me.
Um,
They still gonna pay, they say the company.
okay, yeah, I do want to kind of rein this in a little bit. Mr. McPhillips. Hi. You're again in the hot seat. Do you have any sort of recommendations, like, does the county have any extended services available for hazardous, materials, for tires, for things like that, aside from the allocations that they give each one of the towns during the summer thing.
We've been looking at trying to expand that. It's difficult. We're in a tough spot from the county point of view with waste removal in general. Because our place that we take it to, and a lot of the other counties in our area is actually looking to close, like Senator Meadows. Landfill, they also put restrictions on us for what we can send up there. The DEC obviously has a lot to say about how you're gonna get rid of what types of materials and what's proper and what's not, and if we don't handle the property properly, right? We then get fined, right? So if somebody brings something in and we don't pick up on it and we don't know, and it gets mixed in with other things, then that's another issue, but it's something I can bring up to the solid waste committee to see if there's something we can do to expand. I know one of the things that I did just this year was for, our yearly litter pickups, whether that's in the spring or fall, when we do these types of programs.
Thank you for riding in the back of the trash truck with me.
Yes.
For the, litter cleanup day.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with me there. But, I try to expand it. Originally it was just for roadside pickup. Now we've expanded it to water bodies, which was something that was important to me, given just, with the district that I represent with the river, with all the lakes that we have, just trying to make sure that things get picked up in the spring and the fall, where people have that opportunity to come in and do it for free. We've been trying to expand on that. We're gonna keep trying to expand on that. We don't want it to be that, people who necessarily can't afford to then put in a position where then, they're ruining the environment around them because they have no other choice or whatever it might be, right? So we recognize that. I mean, we do wanna try to do anything we can to mitigate that, but it's definitely, it's tough when you get into those hazardous materials. There's a lot of rules around those, so.
Well, thank you, and we'll continue to update the public with any advancements on the
How many
county.
dumpsters did you fill last year on one day?
But
Great, thank you.
And one tire.
Something basically, you can tell the people that are, let's say, bringing electronics on that 17th of this month to the cleanup of town. Whatever that's electronics, whatever that refrigerator, they don't pay the fee at the transfer station.
No, you don't pay the fees.
No, you don't pay the fee. If you're
You
picking
can't
up,
put it in the dumpster.
if you're picking up roadside trash, you can still pick up coupons that are good through September from the clerk's office. I'm carrying them all the time too. So whenever I see bags or big pieces, or car parts, whatever it is, I just grab it, give it to the guys. You just have to fill it out and they're in receipt of the trash. And I picked up everything from bumpers to car signs to pieces of washers. It's really bizarre when it's up on the side of the road. Like, don't ask questions, just do it. So if you guys do spot something that is dumped on the side of the road and you have the time, or you can ping a public official to pick it up and give us a location, you can use those tickets. October. Okay, code, Lori, you were explaining that there was no report because our code clerk fell.
Yeah, we had to close the office today. Our clerk was very sick, so she didn't run her reports for our meeting tonight. But I'll send them out later this week, just open violations. And we're also going to get an update from our special counsel on upcoming court issues with some outstanding code violators. So I apologize to the board for that on behalf of Mary. She felt bad and sick. Second point of, we've been tossing this back and forth a little over years, purchasing a tablet that our code enforcers can use, but it would be owned by the town of Highland. So the data stays and remains with us. The tablet can be used beyond Fusco if we hire a full-time code enforcer. So tonight I would like us to consider purchasing a tablet, using the existing Verizon wireless account that Helene Hoffman used. Purchasing a refurbished tablet, Samsung through Verizon. I did the same research too. So before we move forward, I would like to make a motion to use funds to purchase a tablet for code enforcement office not to exceed $1,200, including the Verizon switch over. And that also includes putting IPS, which is a $350 fee from Edmunds GovTech onto that tablet, which would sync with the computers in the code office and our enforcers out in the field. We're gonna do everything we can to come under that number. The difference between a 14-inch screen and a 12-inch screen, we can go with the smaller screen. We can go, yeah, we can go. I've seen some of the code enforcer tablets, they're cracked. So we'll keep it affordable, refurbished, not a brand new purchase, and we'll reuse our existing Verizon account. So the motion is not to exceed $1,200 for purchase for tablet for code enforcement.
And I will raise you to be, to be paid for out of the SAM grant for technology, at the town hall. So
Okay.
do I have a motion, do I have a second? What was the proposed motion?
It stays with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
Thank
On
you.
March sixth, we also held a public hearing, for no parking on River Road. Not only was it discussed about the children that are now right across from there on River Road and the precedents that it sets if we just go around town and, you know, put up no parking signs wherever there's kids, you know, playing or whatever. It's a slightly different situation with the green space on River Road. The green space was given on Island by Aaron Robinson. And so it's a park in the middle of a neighborhood, which is very unique to our town. We don't have a lot of like dedicated parks in our town. And because of that, the residents have been meeting since 2016, I think, when the land was originally attributed to the town. So they've been meeting and trying to come up with a list of rules. We posted those rules, you know, at the green space when we put up the interpretive signs and have done the manicuring work to kind of like claim our stake as it being a green space. But that being said, a consistency from both the county's recommendations and the neighbors is that there's no parking lot on River Road. And part of the river access project is to encourage healthy lifestyle living. So we are encouraging folks to park that want to enjoy the green space at the First Eagle Observation, just north of River Road, or at the cul-de-sac at the south end of River Road, but nowhere on River Road. When the farmer's market was established, we worked with the code enforcer at the time, Dave Preston, and those were some of the complaints as well. The road is very narrow. Some of the retaining walls in disrepair, it's not safe. And it's a county road that is, that we do have to adhere to county recommendations for as well. So, but we did have to host a public hearing. And I'd like to know if I have a motion to move the town board resolution to prohibit parking on River Road. Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. So that was.
Tom was opposed.
Yeah, Tom opposed.
Opposed because there's no exemption for handicapped vehicles.
When we talked to the county about that initially too, they basically said that there's no safe way for anybody who's handicapped to get down to the space. They don't want people driving down to the space.
They don't have to. They can park right on the side of the road and stand in the road and look at the river if they don't.
Well, the good news is there's 3 other spaces, the DUC, the Eagle Observation 1 and Eagle Observation 2, where handicapped people can enjoy the view of the river. But the actual dike that goes down to the green space is not safe for walkers, wheelchairs, canes, those kind of things. Okay, thank you. So moved. Personnel handbook, Laura, give me updates.
It's been handed out to everybody. There are signatures needed on the last page to put on file with the town clerk's office. So hopefully we can get the rest of the team on board and reading the handbook and signing.
Okay, and thank you for all your work on it.
You're welcome.
I know it's been a labor. Planning and zoning, Laura and Tom.
Well, we've had some changeover in staffing. Helene Hoffman has stepped down as the planning zoning board clerk. So she submitted her resignation letter. She's been helping with transitioning and training. We also have a planning board alternate position open. So tonight we have to accept both Helene Hoffman and Teddy Neuter's resignations from those positions. We will be posting opportunities to the website. And Mary, our code clerk, has on a probationary period to get us through the next few months and see what the workload is like and if she can handle it. Just to be fully transparent, she's not 100%. She wants to take on more. She likes the part-time job role. But hopefully that works out. She's been responding really well to the training. Helene's last post will be this week's Zoning Board of Appeals meeting on Thursday.
So do I have a motion to accept the letters of resignation from Helene Hoffman and Ted Nutter?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Also for the public, in the event of, to try to provide as much transparency as possible. Ted Nutter resigned because he is training to be a code enforcer, and he's in code school as we speak, and he's been hired by Fusco. And so he's been shadowing with the code enforcer who just moved on to a full-time position in another municipality. Chris was his first round of training. And then he's been working with Jim and with Rich over the last couple of weeks. He will be permitted to do fire inspections after his third code enforcement meeting. So we'll be able to knock out some of those Airbnbs. And then again, I think we've made ourselves pretty clear. We don't want to be in a position where we are without a code enforcer. It would be debilitating this time of year, especially with additions, decks, all the things that happen during the spring and summer months when we're kind of in season. But we do, if we were to move on from Fusco, we want to make it as smooth as possible. So Ted has come on, and we're going to see how he works out and services the community under the guise and the coverage of insurance and liability through Fusco. And Ted lives in Berryville, or Eldred, as it were, I think, over there. So we'll see how it works out and how he does shadowing with those guys and working in our office right now. And I will post, put the official notice on my supervisor page for the alternate as well. And you can email supervisor@townofhighlandny.com if you are interested in a position on the planning board. Grants, Laura, can you give us an update on the Sullivan 180 grant?
Sure. You might have noticed around town, there's 2 new gateway signs. Of course, we'd like to thank the highway department for their help in installing those through rain and torrential downpour. We had to change the date, frozen ground in the fall, in the early winter, sorry. And they are reflective, so they're visible at night. So the first gateway sign that's been replaced is on 55 towards Tustin, second on 97 towards Port Jervis. The gardens will be replenished and replaced throughout the next few months. Under those spaces, with help from Mama and Company Garden, Jess, who's so wonderful. She's been helping us plant native perennials, things that are easier to maintain, require less care, less water, and aren't invasive to the area. So that project is finally coming into visualization. We did secure a second grant for this year.
For $14,000, which is great.
$14,000, and that will help us maintain consistency within their gardens, with our regular planting schedule, including the boxes out front of Town Hall, Pollinator Garden, Triangle Garden in Barryville, all of the gateway sign area spaces, as well as we will be having our intern come back from last year, Allie Galvin Liefernick. So we're very excited to see her start again in June. We also have a lot of support from the highway department in terms of maintaining throughout the summer. We had a really, really rough summer last year. There was a heat dome, dried out a lot of plants. We lost some. So we're going to be a little bit more fastidious and careful with a lot more hands this year. We are always welcoming volunteers to help with gardening, which will kick off next week with prep, moving mulch, and getting ready to put new plants into the ground with the help of our existing volunteer group. And I don't know, I think that's it.
No, I want to thank you for, so Laura, part of the grant funds as well is to put 2 new signs on Proctor Road, coming in from Lumberland. And then another, sign coming in from Beaver Brook, from Newland. So originally, those signs were designed as part of the Girl Scout project. Laura was wonderful.
Venture
It was raised-
Scouts.
It was raised by a town board member that those were part of a municipal project with the Girl Scouts. And so Laura was really wonderful, did her due diligence and talked to the actual scout who did those signs. Because there was some concern raised that we were erasing history or doing something bad by replacing these signs that were put up in 2016. But we got not only her blessing, but her exuberance.
Yeah.
She's agreed to.
Yeah, she was very excited. She was surprised they lasted as long as they did. She talked about digging the holes below the frost line by hand with the Venture Scout program. She mentioned that anything we do to commemorate or honor that project, she would love to see more young people get involved in volunteer programs like that. So we're going to be thinking a little bit about the next time capsule. We're going to be conducting an interview for the newspaper to honor her experience. We're going to retain one of those signs for view here in Town Hall. And the gateway signs that are on 55 and 97 are quite much more larger than the signs on Beaverbrook Road and Proctor Road. So we will minimize the scope of those signs to match the area that they're in. We don't want to overpower or dig up new spaces. So it was kind of exciting to talk to the family. It was the Stosley family. Alinita Stosley was a Venture Scout, and this was part of her leadership program before she left for college. And so it was really lovely to talk to her. She wishes the town well. She lives very far away upstate, almost to the Canada border.
Yeah, and we did invite her to when we bury the time capsule to sort of be part of that ceremony, because that's coming up the next year. I don't know if any of you know, but they're updating the.
I'll go back a bit.
July 22nd, 1976.
Very cool.
So we are updating our time capsule next year. It's very exciting. This group is a fun group. They put the time capsule in a beer keg. Falling about Town Island in 1976. And so we're really excited to see what kind of updates that we can offer to that. And we really wanted to commemorate those, because anybody that has a big, anybody who puts themselves and their families forward to contribute to the town, we want to really show appreciation to and have it be permanently recognized. Christina Watts, it's another example where we contacted the family of somebody who did something in the farmer's market, took over the garden at the Berryville United Methodist Church. We contacted Christina Watts about the placard because it was a Girl Scout project as well. And it was such a wonderful dialogue that we had with the Watts family. And it really did encourage not only their involvement and participation, but just sort of a pride in coming to visit the garden. Sort of when people lay these groundwork and do these monumental projects, they have staying power, and we really want to honor that. So thank you for sharing this. This is awesome.
That hangs, it was before we got painted. Hangs
hall,
in the
Yeah.
town clerk's office.
Yeah, and I'd love to get a picture of that wonderful flag that Jules Robinson contributed when Fred Weaver passed away too. Would be great.
Yeah.
Time capsule as well.
Yeah, it would.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Let's see. All right, Javed, you're up.
Awesome. So what I have for you is some very preliminary findings from the Bonavio Group regarding their investigative work. I provided the board just some brief notes here, and let's kind of go through the board and kind of explain what's going on here. So their preliminary investigation, again, preliminary, they haven't completed it, made a series of findings I identified as 1 through 6 here. Finding number 1, that there have been significant discrepancies in the amounts, payment types and names between the various platforms that the town uses, the IPS, which is the Integrated Property System, and the VAS, which is the Business Automation Services. These systems are used for building permits, zoning, code enforcement, tracking.
Speak up.
Sure.
Here's the money.
Thank you. used to kind of catalog receipts for tax collection, automation, receipts, any sort of permits. So they just found a lot of discrepancies between monies that have been reported in those systems, between the systems, and also what's been deposited into the bank accounts. So discrepancies between these are serious because they indicate administrative error or mishandling of the public funds. Now, Bonadio is very clear that because this is preliminary, they can't come to any conclusions as to what it was. Could it be just a simple administrative error? But if it's that, it's over a course of a long period of time, so the errors are compounding, or a conclusion that the monies were actually mishandled or misappropriated. They haven't made that conclusion, but they're going through the record. Unexplained variances between receipts and deposits. They found that Bass recorded $6,087.21 less than what was actually deposited into the checking account in 2024. So what this means is, monies are received, they're either not recorded or improperly recorded, and then a different amount is deposited into the bank accounts. Same thing with the DEC permit fees. DEC portal showed that the DEC had $240 more in receipts than what was actually deposited in our accounts. Another big number, this sounds like a scary number, but again, this is preliminary. In 2022 and 2023, tax deposits in the SNO account actually reported the receipts. In 2022, what was deposited was $1 million more than what was actually recorded. And then in 2023 was $3.5 million more than what was recorded. So again, what this is an issue of when receipts are coming, they're not being recorded, or if they are, they're being misrecorded. Again, they're doing more work on determining why that problem exists, but they identified that it's a problem that exists. Another finding they did find is that deposits are not made timely under town law section 227. Deposits have to be made within 3 business days of its receipt. They found multiple months in 2024 with no deposits, despite the presence of cash receipts in the systems. So again, here's a situation where cash is being received from the public, they're being recorded in the books, but not showing up in the bank for months or weeks or a time in excess of the 3-day allotment. Same situation with some tax revenues that are collected. There it's the fees have to be put in by the 15th and tax collection weekly. In 2024, only 6 months there was checks made, and some were up to 4 months late. No remittance for DEC account was made in 2023 or 2024, despite there being activity for those from the DEC, so from the DEC's perspective. Again, it's important that when fees are collected and revenues are collected, they have to be reported timely, they have to be deposited timely. The failures could affect the integrity of the town's, general fund. It could result in underreporting of revenues and incorrect financial statements used for budgeting and audits. A few more of the preliminary findings: delays with death certificate filings, New York State retirement memberships, and then some reports of unfiled permits, undeposited checks that were identified. Apparently there's cash that's been received but not deposited or recorded. And then the issue with the 9/11 bank account, which was identified to at one point have had a town EIN, an employer identification number, but then that EIN was changed off of the account. But Bonadio didn't find any town board resolution authorizing the change. So what they determined is, well, at some point this must have been a town account. And it was changed, but there was no town board resolution authorizing that change. And then finally, a concern with DEC sending permits, but it was being received at a private address rather than town hall. And that is gonna need to be looked into a little bit more.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, so you have my letter there, you've got your findings, you've got
Yeah.
your
Can
report.
I have a copy of that, please?
Yeah.
Yes. One thing I do want to say about this conversations with Javed, when we were bringing Bonadio on for this, sort of audit process and investigation. The findings of this will hopefully inform a more secure town of Highland moving forward. Some of their initial findings just suggest that by definition, the role of the clerk's office was designed in a really interesting time where a lot of municipalities were going from manual into the digital age. And one individual held that position through that transition for a 20-year period. And there are no bumpers that have been created around that position. And there are no, there's a lack of transparency around that position. There are not oversight for the board with a lot of the accounts. So while some of these, sort of findings, we'll say, are troubling and give me serious pause as the financial officer of the town. I want to take all this information and hopefully move forward from this experience, this auditing experience, and create a more secure town clerk's office for our community and really kind of reimagine what this thing looks like. And I feel very secure in Bonadio's work that they are looking for solutions and they are offering recommendations as we go with each one of our check-ins. So, Javed, thank you for working with them and thank you to the Bonadio group. I know that they worked with the county as well and had some pretty rough findings there as well, but it's, I think, as we move forward as a community, it's about becoming better and trying to create new scenarios where we're more secure, just like we've done with our tech upgrades, just like we've done with a lot of other areas of the town. We really need to get better. And it's hard for a small town to get better. We have super limited resources. And we all just have to be resourceful and look for opportunities to make ourselves better and to have more accountability to the public. Because we take your money, your taxes, your hard-earned money that you pay in very, very seriously. So just know that we're doing this to try to make the town better and to make it more secure and to guarantee opportunities for the town and make sure that all those funds find their way to create more opportunities for the town and security. Thank you there. Now, I'd like a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal of a removal of a particular person or corporation. Do I have that motion?
I like that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. It's now 9 o'clock. Do I have a motion to return from the executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Well, actually, we're getting.
Yes, I'd like to share with the public that no action for taken, and no decisions were made in executive session.
Can you speak a little louder, please?
Sure. I just would like to inform the public that no actions were taken during executive session. All right, let's go over our abstracts. Do I have a motion to pay highway abstract number 5-2025 claims 42 to 51 in the amount of $14,003.77? Do I have that motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Do I have a motion to pay general abstract number 5-2025, claims number 118 through 156 in the amount of $68,326.48? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Do I have a motion to pay the Eldred Streetlights number 4-2025 claim 4 in the amount of $144.77? Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Do I have a motion to pay Silver Feather Grant number 5-2025 claim number 2 in the amount of $79.16?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Do I have a motion to pay Sullivan 180 grant number 5-2025 claim number 1 in the amount of $773.80? Do I have that motion?
I'll make that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
Yes.
Okay, so we have one, just addition, after the meeting that was made to the, Office of Children and Families grant that we just have to acknowledge one vendor's receipt and add it to the abstract. Do we have a number? Do we have like a abstract number or no?
No, it's for the, it's this one here.
Got it, okay, it's not, it's an addition.
Yes, in addition to that.
Okay, so in addition to the grant for the community and senior center, we have an additional $936 invoice. So I have a motion to pay and add this into the abstracts.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And what is that?
It's
What it is.
it's paid out of the Office of Children and Families grant, and it's for the senior cleaning of the floors in the senior center. and community center. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna start public comment off with a special guest from the Delaware Riverkeeper Network, Shaylin, floor is yours. Yeah, yes, sure.
Special guest, that's a very kind introduction. Good evening, board members. My name is Shaylin Parker, and I'm the River Protection and Environmental Rights Advocacy Associate at Delaware Riverkeeper Network. As you are likely aware, Delaware Riverkeeper Network has submitted for the board's consideration a petition to adopt a moratorium on any new development in the Upper Delaware Scenic and Recreational River Corridor portion of the town of Highland to allow for needed comprehensive planning and zoning reforms. This petition was first submitted in person at the October 9th, 2024 town board meeting, and there was an additional submission with organization sign-ons at the November 12th, 2024 town board meeting. Those submissions were both digital and in person. We would like to respectfully ask the board why there has been no public consideration given to this matter. Despite our multiple submissions and correspondence from both our organization and some members of the public, the board has not brought forth the moratorium petition as an agenda item and has not provided a public hearing or public comment session specific to the moratorium at these town board meetings. Similarly, the public has not been privy to any internal discussions the board members have had, so it is unknown if the full petition has been read or if there are opportunities to address board member concerns or questions. As mentioned in the petition letter, I would like to reiterate that moratoria on new development are commonplace during periods of comprehensive planning and zoning ordinance updates. They are an opportunity to hit the pause button while members of the town re-examine and reshape their visions of economic, environmental, and social well-being for present and future generations. In this way, any incoming development proposals will have the opportunity to align with the town's character, vision, and priorities. Across the region, other moratoria have been or are currently enacted or being pursued in towns that are undergoing similar comprehensive updates, including Rockland, Bethel, Liberty, Mamakating, and Warwick in Orange County. The moratoria have benefited these towns by giving them the time to consider the laws and regulations needed to secure project proposals that not only provide important economic advantages, but are also sustainable in that they protect the health and safety of the townspeople and the surrounding environment. With the influx of large-scale development proposals, the town of Highland could also experience those same benefits and take extra care to safeguard the Upper Delaware River, which the townspeople have noted is a vital recreational, community health, and economic strength of the town. Delaware Riverkeeper Network once again urges the town of Highland to seriously consider, through a board discussion at a public town board meeting with an accompanying public hearing or comment opportunity, the petition to adopt a moratorium on any new development in the Upper Delaware Scenic and Recreational River Corridor portion of the town of Highland to allow for needed comprehensive planning and zoning reforms. And at this time, I would like to give the board an opportunity to respond to my previously posed question. Why has there been no public consideration of this matter, and what has to be done to get public consideration of this matter?
Moving to number one. I for one would like to respond. So we are in the middle of our 10-year comprehensive planning process at large.
Right.
We have assigned a really wonderful, well-bodied cross-section of the community to represent the future of our town and what we want our town to look like in visioning sessions. We've had 4 slotting sessions and moratoriums have come up in some of those sessions. We're deadlocked in the middle of our process right now. We are going to be issuing a big survey to all the community members, and we're going to take those findings very, very seriously. In the slotting sessions, we've talked about river development, we've talked about open spaces, we've talked about, just developments at large and what those things characteristically should look like. So I believe, it's my opinion, that the town board has placed the sort of onus of the public visioning and the development into the hands of the 10-year comprehensive planning committee. And we are in the middle of those sessions. Everybody in town has been given an invitation. Everybody will receive a survey. We're going to send it out door to door. We're also going to get it out digitally. We're giving the opportunity to the public in a big way to inform what this town looks like, what development should look like, what open spaces should look like, what resources should look like, what emergency services should look like, what development of town property should look like. So we're really, I feel we're really giving a deep consideration to the public. And that additionally includes the potential for a moratorium. We have 2 members that are very thanks. Thank you. We have 2 members of the public the two members that are residents that are leading the charge. One is a former planning commissioner of Sullivan County and one is a current planning commissioner of Sullivan County who are town of Highland residents. And have discussed moratoriums with the board at large. So I feel like we still need more public input. I feel like we need the findings of our survey that gives all the residents a chance to talk about this. To come out, and I feel like we're gonna have public swatting session, maybe not swatting per se, but we're gonna have public comment sessions moving forward when we talk about the proposals for changing codes, changing laws, changing zoning, because we have a lot of work to do. It's not only the development of the river corridor, but we have 4 other hands that are very, very to the town hall. Identify commercial centers, we're making purchases towards the support of those sort of identifications, so we really just need to get the full picture. And we don't take what you're saying lightly, and we really do appreciate your work.
Yes, to clarify on that survey you'll be sending out, you're intending to ask people their thoughts on a moratorium. It sounds like all of the work that's going into the comprehensive plan process is amazing and you're getting a lot of great input. I'm just thinking that this is like the opportune moment while you're creating that plan to put a pause on any other applications that would come in so that, no decisions are made before you have those final results of the survey, before they're reflected in the zoning ordinances, before you're able to put together that vision of the updated plan.
I mean, it's not outside of our consideration. We have a meeting on Monday. The committee is meeting on Monday. It will definitely be brought up. We appreciate your diligence here, and Sonia and I are both on the committee, and we'll propose it to the other committee members to include it on the survey. It's something we need to deeply consider.
Okay.
We've also received a few letters of support for exactly what you're asking. To bring it to the public, put it before in a public hearing, and to discuss it more openly, and we're preparing for that.
Okay.
And Laura's been a big part of digitizing all of those letters and getting those things up and available to the public. So we are really trying to be as transparent with people who are in support of certain projects, who are, opposed to certain projects. We're really trying to get a full kind of slice of the community's opinions on how we should move.
Yeah, is there any opportunity or any process that you would need to look at a moratorium sooner than when that survey gets sent out? Because we're just concerned of any projects that would happen in the meantime.
The
That would go
survey's
against the updated plan.
The survey's intended to go out by like end of May, beginning of June, when the majority of our residents are present in town, so that they are all in receipt of it. So we get like the biggest sort of widest opinion base possible and response base. So it's gonna happen within the next month or so.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Paula.
I really, resonate with what she said, because for us, it's a real opportunity to join other towns. If you sent me a survey and, it wasn't on it, I wouldn't have thought about it. But I can understand it doing it for the town, but to do something when you have to do it, there's no question that we have to protect their towns in the river corridor with some kind of moratorium or something. Oh, we're gonna be living in Branson, Missouri.
Thank you. Yes, Mark.
Ditto.
Thank you. Thank you, ditto. Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes, Andrew.
Question regarding the employee handbook. Will that be restricted to hired employees, or will that include elected officials as well?
No, it's
It includes everybody. It's in. Recommendations they have a separate handbook. And so if things come to a head and a discussion has to happen, the union handbook will supersede, but it's more a recommendation to our highway crew.
I wish you very, very well. Back in the day when I was chair of personnel, I tried to do that exact thing. Boy, did I have to step on toes.
Yes. It does talk a lot about ethics. Yeah.
Established, we didn't do it that way. Back in the day, we did it this way. God bless you.
Any other public comment? Okay, it is 9:14. Do I have
One of the last item.
Oh, I actually have another, thank you.
Yeah, sure, no, so a question was presented to me by Councilman Haas about one of the programs, the length of service award program. I was hoping to address it tonight, but since Councilman Haas is here, not here, table it and we can have that discussion.
Yeah, we can put it on the agenda, the June workshop.
Perfect.
I did, and I'm sorry, Matt.
No comment, right?
Pardon?
Comments, sir?
Yeah, we're still public comment, but I have an announcement, if you don't mind. Sorry, Matt, cover your ears. Today is the last day to submit your name or NYSEG bills, that we are going to be submitting, to NYSEG. So if anybody would like to sign a petition or has any NYSEG bills of upcharges or overage charges or any perceived raises, tonight's the night you can sign this, and then I think that NYSEG will probably do some case studies to see why these things are happening, and they might dig into your bills further. Hopefully, we would like to see that happen. But if anybody would like to sign this petition, if you feel like you're being unfairly or even unlawfully charged, please sign this petition of support with your fellow residents. It is now, time for Margie Gracie to speak.
To address, David, do we know when the final, report will be?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Basically, this was a halfway marker to say that they need, we received the bill, we received like the preliminary report. They said they basically asked us to keep working and keep researching. And so they're gonna try to see the issues that were raised into the completion and to have finite conclusions to present to the various legal agencies that are involved. Are there any more public comments? Yes.
I had one comment, sort of something I was just thinking about, sitting here. I just want to go plug out to, Koinonia and their sort of summer camp program.
Yes.
It's sort of, I've heard and sort of looking at the literature from them that the town is cutting funds for them.
No.
Or going to limit the money.
No, we every year we've allocated $18,000 towards Koinonia. Last year, like I had mentioned earlier, we had the unique opportunity to give them to satisfy what was allocated to them in 2023 by the previous town board. There was a deficiency of $9,000 that was not paid out to them. So we took the $9,000 and gave them our $18,000 that we already agreed to, and then supplemented that with additional funds towards their program, because we had the benefit of having LoSAP funds. So we gave them $30,000 in total last year. ARPA funds. Sorry, I'm getting my acronyms mixed up at 9:30.
Okay.
But yeah, so we gave them the surplus of ARPA funds in the amount of $30,000 last year. This year's pledge was $24,000, which we're at right now. We explained to the director that we are going to apply, like I said, for the Sullivan County Youth Bureau grant to supplement, to bring that up to the $30,000 that we were able to give them last year. So we're talking about a difference of about $6,000. We do realize that will affect families, but we're waiting on the results of the RFP, which will incorporate the full disparage of those funds. But yes, we love the program. We think it's great, but some residents have given us feedback. They drop out the program, they have other needs, transportation needs, other needs, artistic needs, whatever the case may be. So we're trying to diversify and in effect to benefit the greatest amount of families in the town.
It is, yeah, and I know that, whatever, obviously with Jesse with Soul and Public and all that stuff. I just want to plug that, the Koinonia program is so amazing and
Yeah.
like.
We love them.
The low cost, the proximity, the fact that you're not driving half an hour this way, half an hour that
Yeah.
way.
We
It makes
hosted our
working in the summer, like. So
every one of our board members were present that are sitting at the table now for the Greater Berryville Chamber of Commerce dinner, which we moved to Koinonia so that we could really expose the public to its greatness. So we are big fans. We've all walked the grounds. We think the world of that place and want to continue to support it and make it part of the town's permanent infrastructure and offerings. Are there any more public comments? Okay, it is now 9:19. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. Any abstentions? Thank you to the public for attending tonight. Have a great evening.